Hello everyone, so we are the group 2 and today we're going to tackle about the functional group, which are the sulfide, phosphate, thiol, amine. So the sulfide, phosphate, thiol, and amine are all important chemical functional groups that are found in a variety of molecules. So the sulfide is a functional group in organic chemistry that consists of a sulfur atom bonded to two organic groups or substituents. The most common sulfide is the dimethyl sulfide, which is the chemical formula CH3,2S. Sulfides are important in biochemistry as they are present in many amino acids and are involved in the formation of disulfide bonds in proteins. They also have many industrial uses, such as in the production of pesticides and solvents. Sulfides have a characteristic odor, often described as resembling rotten eggs, due to the presence of hydrogen sulfide gas, which is produced by the decomposition of organic matter. So the phosphate is a functional group that consists of a phosphorus atom bonded to four oxygen atoms, with one of the oxygen atoms being a hydroxyl group. It is an important component of many biological molecules, such as nucleic acids, phospholipids, and ATP, or the adenosine triphosphate, which are involved in energy transfer and storage, cell signaling, and membrane structure. The presence of a phosphate group can also affect the acidity and reactivity of a molecule. Thiol is a functional group consisting of a sulfur atom bonded to a hydrogen atom that is commonly found in organic molecules. Thiol groups are highly reactive due to the polarity of the sulfur-hydrogen bond and the presence of the lone pair of electrons on the sulfur atom, which makes them important in many biological and chemical processes. Some important compounds contain thiol groups include cysteine, which is an important amino acid in protein synthesis, and glutathione, which is a crucial antioxidant in the body. Thiols are also commonly used in organic synthesis and as reagents in analytical chemistry. The amines are a class of organic compounds that contain a nitrogen atom bonded to one or more alkyl or aryl groups. The presence of the nitrogen atom and the attached alkyl or aryl groups gives amines a unique chemical and physical properties. Amines are categorized into primary, secondary, and tertiary amines based on the number of alkyl or aryl groups attached to the nitrogen atom. The functional group amine is an organic functional group that consists of a nitrogen atom bonded to two hydrogen atoms. Amines can be considered as a derivatives of ammonia, where one or more hydrogen atoms are replaced by a alkyl or aryl group. So these are the properties of the sulfide. So again, sulfide is a chemical compound that contains a sulfur atom and a negatively charged ion. Number 1 is that odor. Sulfide has a distinct odor that is often described as a rotten eggs or a sulfurous smell. Number 2 is the solubility. So sulfides are generally insoluble in water, but they can dissolve in some organic solvents. Number 3 is the reactivity. Sulfides are reactive compounds that can undergo a range of chemical reactions. They can react with acids to form hydrogen sulfide gas and with oxidizing agents to form sulfur dioxide. Number 4 is the toxicity. Some sulfides, such as hydrogen sulfide, can be toxic to humans and animals in high concentrations. Exposure to hydrogen sulfide gas can cause respiratory distress, nausea, and headaches. And then long-term exposure can lead to neurological damage, cardiovascular disease, and even death. Number 5 is that stability. Sulfides are relatively stable compounds, but they can decompose under certain conditions, such as exposure to high temperatures or strong acids. Number 6 is the color. Sulfides can be a range of colors including black, brown, yellow, and red. So the natural occurrence of sulfides are found in many natural sources, including hot springs, volcanoes, and even geothermal vents. Next one are the properties of phosphate. So phosphate has several important properties that make it useful in many different applications. Number one is the solubility. Phosphates are generally soluble in water, which makes them easy to dissolve and transport in aqueous solutions. Buffering capacity. Phosphates have a buffering capacity, which means they can help manage a stable pH in solutions. This property makes them useful in many biological and chemical applications. Number three is the reactivity. Phosphates are highly reactive and can participate in many chemical reactions. For example, is that they can form esters and anhydrides with alcohols and carboxylic acids respectively. The stability of the phosphates are generally under normal conditions, although they can decompose at high temperatures or under acidic or alkaline conditions. Phosphates are essential for many biological processes such as DNA and RNA synthesis, energy metabolism, and cell signaling. In the human body, phosphates are also important for bone and tooth mineralization. Phosphates can have both positive and negative environmental impacts. While they are essential for plant growth and are commonly used as fertilizers, excessive use of phosphates can lead to eutrophication of water bodies and other environmental problems, as you can see in the picture. Next one are the properties of thiols. So thiols, also known as mercapans, have a unique set of chemical and physical properties that make them important in various industrial, biological, and chemical applications. Some of the key properties of thiols include the strong odor. Thiols have a very strong and distinct odor, often described as rotten eggs or skunk-like, just like the sulfide. This odor makes them useful in some applications, such as odorants for natural gas, but also makes them unpleasant to work with in other applications. Thiols are highly reactive due to the polar nature of the sulfur-hydrogen bond in the SH group. Thiols can easily react with other compounds, such as alcohols, alkali halides, and carbonyl compounds to form new chemical products. The next one is that thiols are good reducing agents because of the sulfur atom's ability to donate electrons. Thiols can donate electrons to other molecules or ions and thereby reduce them. Thiols are also generally soluble in polar solvents such as the water and ethanol, but insoluble in nonpolar solvents such as hexane and benzene. Another one is that thiols have a strong affinity for metal ions and can form coordination complexes with them. This property makes thiols useful in applications such as metal extraction, metal recovery, and metal catalysis. The last one is that thiols are very important in biological systems as components of proteins and enzymes. They play a variety of roles, including catalysis, redox regulation, and metal binding. The next one are the properties of the amine. So amines are generally colorless liquids or solids with a fishy odor. They have lower boiling points than alcohols and higher boiling points than hydrocarbons of similar molecular weight. They are also soluble in water and polar solvents. Next one is the basicity. Amines are weak bases due to the lone pair of electrons and on the nitrogen atom. The basicity of amines depends on the number of alkyl groups attached to the nitrogen atom. Primary amines are more basic than secondary amines, which are more basic than tertiary amines. Amines can undergo a variety of chemical reactions, including nucleophilic substitution, oxidation, and protonation. They can also be used as ligands in coordination chemistry. Next one is that amines are important in biological systems and play a role in many physiological processes. They are found in many biomolecules, including amino acids, neurotransmitters, and nucleotides. Last one is that amines have many industrial applications, including as solvents, corrosion inhibitors, and surfactants. They are also used in the production of pharmaceuticals, dyes, and polymers. So these are the structure of the sulfides, phosphates, thiols, and amines. So again, sulfides have a sulfur atom bonded to two organic groups. The general formula for a sulfide is RSR, where R and R are organic groups. Phosphates have a phosphorus atom bonded to 4 oxygen atoms and 1 organic group. The general formula for a phosphate is RPO4, where R is the organic group. Thiols have a sulfur atom bonded to 1 organic group and 1 hydrogen atom. The general formula for a thiol is RSH, where R is the general group, or the organic group. Amines have a nitrogen atom bonded to 1 or more organic groups. The general formula for an amine is RNH2, where R is the organic group. So the nomenclature of sulfide is that follows the guidelines of the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, or the IUPAC system. The steps for naming sulfides are as follows. Number 1 is that identify the 2 alkyl or aryl groups attached to the sulfur atom. The alkyl groups are named according to the number of carbon atoms in the chain, while the aryl groups are named based on the substituents on the ring. Second is that combine the names of the 2 alkyl or aryl groups and add the suffix sulfide. If the 2 groups are identical, then the prefix is di, added before the name of the group, and the suffix sulfide is added. Number the carbon atoms of the longest continuous carbon chain that includes the sulfur atom. If there is more than one chain, select the chain that contains the most sulfide groups and number it accordingly. Indicate the position of the sulfur atom in the name by using the number of the carbon atom to which it is attached. Use a hyphen to separate the position number from the group name. So here are some examples. So the ethyl sulfide contains an ethyl group, C2H5, bonded to a sulfur atom. Next one is that methylthioethane contains a methyl group, CH3, bonded to a sulfur atom with an ethane C2H6 backbone. Next one is the propyl sulfide, contains a propyl group C3H7 bonded to a sulfur atom. Next is the isopropyl thioethane, contains an isopropyl group CH3CH3 bonded to a sulfur atom with an ethene C2H4 backbone. Butyl sulfide contains a butyl group C4H9 bonded to a sulfur atom. The last one is that cyclohexylthiophene contains a cyclohexyl group C6H11 bonded to a sulfur atom with a thiophene C4H4S backbone. Next one is the nomenclature of the phosphate. So the nomenclature of phosphate is based on the number of phosphorus atoms and the number of oxygen atoms in the molecule. So first step is that identify the number of a phosphorus atoms in the molecule. If there is only one phosphorus atom, use the prefix mono. If there are 2, 3, or 4 phosphorus atoms, then use the prefixes di, tri, and tetra respectively. Next step is that identify the number of oxygen atoms in the molecule if there are 4 oxygen atoms. Use the suffix ate. If there are 3 oxygen atoms, then use the suffix ite. If there are 2 oxygen atoms, use the prefix hypo and the suffix ite. If there are 1 oxygen atom, then use the prefix per and the suffix ate. If the compound is an acid, add the prefix hydrogen before the name. For example, H3PO4 is called hydrogen phosphate. So these are the examples of phosphate compounds and their names. We have the disodium hydrogen phosphate. We also have potassium phosphate. We also have calcium phosphate. Second to the last is the phosphorous acid. And the last one is the tetraphosphoric acid. So these are the steps to name a thiol. First step is that identify the parent hydrocarbon chain. So the parent hydrocarbon chain is the longest continuous chain of carbon atoms that contains the thiol group. Second step is that number the carbon atoms in the parent chain. Start numbering at the end closest to the thiol group so that the thiol group has the lowest possible number. Third step is identify and name any substituents. Substituents are groups attached to the parent hydrocarbon chain that are not part of the thiol group. Name the substituents and give them a number indicating their position on the parent chain. Fourth step is that name the thiol group, add the suffix thiol or mercaptan to the name of the parent hydrocarbon chain. Last step, combine the names of the substituents and the thiol group in alphabetical order, separated by hyphens. The substituent names come before the parent hydrocarbon chain name. So for example, consider the compound with the molecular formula C4H9SH. The parent hydrocarbon chain is butane. The thiol group is attached to the second carbon of the parent chain, so the compound is named as 2-butane thiol. Another example is the compound with the molecular formula C2H5C6H4SH. The parent hydrocarbon chain is benzene. The thiol group is attached to the second carbon atom of the benzene ring, so the compound is named as 2-mercaptobenzene. Overall, the nomenclature of thiols is relatively straightforward and follows the general rules of organic chemistry nomenclature. So these are the example. So in the nomenclature of thiols, the SH group is considered a functional group and the compound is named as a derivative of the parent hydrocarbon with the suffix thiol or mercaptan. The prefix for the alkane is used and the suffix thiol or mercaptan is added to indicate the presence of the SH group. For example, the methane thiol or methyl mercaptan. Next one is ethane thiol or ethyl mercaptan. Next one is the propane thiol or propyl mercaptan. Next, butane thiol or butyl mercaptan.